The girl was just 6 years old when it happened. She and her sweep had both gone to bed as they always had, nestled against a chimney stack beneath the starry sky. But when the girl woke the next morning, her sweep was gone. She did not worry straight away. Chimney folk are natural rovers, as rootless as the four winds. She assumed her sweep had nipped off to forage for breakfast. They called these little trips belly quests. He would come back any moment now, with ripe figs stolen from a low bough, or quail's eggs swiped from a nest, or even, if they had money, day-old rolls from the baker. But the sweep did not come back with figs, or eggs, or rolls. When the morning turned to afternoon, the girl began to let herself worry. They had only just recently come to this new town, the great kingdom of London. The sweep had told her all sorts of stories about dragons in the river and banshees in the fog, and she wasn't sure which of them were true and which were play. The sweep liked to pass the time by telling stories, and so the girl now told herself stories. She made up fanciful tales about magic bookshops, talking fruit trees, and blind thieves who would open any lock. The stories were all brilliant, but no matter where she started, every story always led her back to that rooftop, alone, hungry, waiting for her sweep. The girl scolded herself for becoming afraid. For all she knew, this was some sort of new game. The sweep was probably hiding behind one of the chimney stacks, waiting to jump out and surprise her. "Ha ha!" he would say, and scoop her up in her arms. "My little sparrow has flown at last from her nest." The girl got up and started to check the rooftops. She checked the stacks and peered over the eaves. She could just make out the words on a sign hanging by the entrance of the house directly beneath her. "Wilkie Crud, Esquire, the clean sweep." The girl remembered how funny she found this at the time, the idea of a sweep being clean. She widened her search. She checked the rooftops across the entire block, taking care to look behind every stack, even poking her head into the chimney pots. At last, she returned to the spot where she had started, more frightened than before. She took up the sweep's coat, which lay folded beside her soot bag. And that was when she saw the hat. There is nothing more sacred to a chimney sweep than his hat. It remains with him at all times, even in the privy and the bath. "To lose your hat, even for a moment," the sweep often told her, "is to summon 1,000 tragedies." He was always telling the girls stories about foolish chimney sweeps who mislaid their hats, only to have a church steeple or a wild elephant come down on their heads. He had also promised that some day, when he became too frail to climb, the hat would be hers. And so when she saw the sweep's hat, which he had concealed beneath his coat, she knew something had gone horribly wrong. Her first thought was that the sweep had tumbled from the roof in his sleep. He usually tied a rope around his waist to prevent this, but perhaps he had forgotten. But somehow she knew that the hat was no accident. He had left it for her. The girl knelt and took the hat in her small hands. The brim was warm to the touch. She smelled the sweet aroma of kindling. When she leaned close, she saw that there was something inside the crown. She reached inside and removed a small clump made of ash or coal or soot, she could not tell which. It was about the size of her fist. The outside was crumbly, but it would not break when she squeezed it. And it was very warm. Imagine discovering that the only person you have ever known and loved was now gone, without a word. Not a note, not a message, only a strange lump of flickering char.